Hey guys, welcome back to Hook with Anime. If you like the video, make sure to subscribe to my channel. Let's begin. Chapter 1. Departure. Welcoming notes. Yellow, Soul here, and welcome to my new Naruto X High School DXD story, Testament of the Replaced. The premise of this story comes from the Naruto X High School DXD one-shot, Replaced, written by Jiraiya's Dream, author of the Naruto X fairy tale La Tormenta. I recommend checking out his stuff. At the end of the one-shot, Jiraiya's Dream offered people that if they wanted to use his one-shot for a premise of a new story, they were allowed. I asked his for permission, and he said yes, so here we are. I was also given permission to use his one-shot to write out this chapter as well, so credit goes to Jiraiya's Dream. If you're familiar with Replaced and the stories from it, the premise is that a heartbroken Naruto left Rias peerage after realizing that the latter and Akeno were too close to Issei. The story that spawned from this were pretty cool, so I wanted a crack at it. It'll be my first time doing a story with drama in it, so for the new year, I'ma take a stab with it. As with most of my stories, there's be multi-crossovers in this. Naruko's in the story, and will be Naruto's only biological sibling. There's gonna be drama when it comes to Naruto, Naruko, Rias, and Akeno. And there's going to be Issei bashing. I'm toning the bashing down in future updates of my Devil Dragon Storm Emperor story, but in this story, Issei won't be in a good light here. Also, it may look like I'm bashing Rias and Akeno, but it's just addressing some of the gripes with her in the series. Finally, Naruto and Naruko will be getting their separate peerages, and will be using fairy pieces. Peerage members already set, so I won't be taking requests. With all that said, let's get on with the show. Disclaimer: I do not own Naruto, High School DXD, or any other crossover that'll appear. Special thanks goes to Reaper of Sanity and Lucius Walker for beta-ing the chapter, and Ziranku for making the cover. Credit goes to Jiraiya's Dream for letting me use his one-shot replace for this chapter. Story, start. Naruto and Naruko. If one could describe the lives of twin devils Naruto Uzumaki and Naruko Uzumaki, it would anything but uneventful. During their adolescence, they lived happily with their parents in the ninja village of the Mugen Tenshin. That all changed when they turned 6. They experienced their first taste of hell when a terrorist group called the Chaos Brigade invaded the village. They watched helplessly as their father was slain by their leader while buying them time to escape. Their mother managed to get them to a safe house before returning to assist the village and their father. She never returned. They were soon chased out by the Tenjin Mon sect of the Mugen Tenshin clan, with one of their leaders seeking to kill them for having the blood of devils. After using their skills with pranks to slow down their pursuers, they managed to escape the territory of the Mugen Tenshin clan. They traveled across the mountains and rural areas of Japan to get to the Hayabusa clan village, but ended up getting lost and rested in a village that was home to the Hero clan. A village member adopted them, seeing the potential within them to be powerful heroes. They lived there for 4 years, happily training and hanging out with their friends until the cursed sword incident. Despite being started by a rogue member of the village, the twins were blamed in the aftermath due to the cursed sword, Brynhildr resonating with Naruto after he saved his friends' lives. Before they could be dealt with, Naruto and Naruko managed to escape the village. They wandered Japan, hitching rides, until they met a young girl named Akeno Himejima, who was using her skills to purify evil spirits that she learned from her mother in order to survive. Naruto and Naruko became her bodyguards after a job goes south, and they travel around together for a year and a half. When they entered a certain town, the trio indirectly saved a human contracted with a devil from the House of Gremory. When they attempted to leave the town, they were attacked by Akeno's relatives, the Himejima clan. Despite being outmatched, the unpredictability of the twins with their imagination and creativity made their attempted murderers stumble and bumble about, humiliating them. After trapping them in a landslide, Naruto, Naruko, and Akeno managed to escape. However, they were captured, rescued by a young devil named Rias Gremory and her father's, Bishop, Heinrich Cornelius Agrippa. The twins knew Rias years ago, playing and hanging out with her whenever their mothers met up. They then moved into the Gremory Palace, where Naruto, Naruko, Rias, and Akeno made a pact to always be together no matter what. Chapter 01. Departure, Apartment. It's been a shitty week, Datbeo. You're telling me, Databana. 2 individuals were sitting in the dark at a table in the dining room. Both had sun-kissed blonde hair, ocean blue eyes, light tan skin, and whisker marks on their cheeks. The only difference is their height and hairstyles, where one was 5 feet 9 inches tall and had spiky hair, and the other was 5 feet 7 inches tall and had her hair styled in high pigtails. They are Naruto Uzumaki and Naruko Uzumaki. They just got back from a farce of an engagement party in Makai. While it was indeed eventful, it was now in the back of their minds. No, scratch that, Naru-ni, it's been a shitty couple of months, Naruko snapped, slamming her fist on the bare table. And back then we thought it couldn't get any worse. Naruto added, pretending to trace something on the table hedge. Boy, we were wrong. I'm surprised how calm you are, Naru-ni. Naruko growled, looking sour. That jackass pervert pretty much took your place in Rias and Akeno's hearts. Naruto's fist clenched as he was reminded of that painful memory, leaving yourself out of the equation much, Imouto. You were in love with Rias and Akeno as much as I was. The twins fiercely glared at each other, before reverting to stained smiles and twitching eyes. Before another word was spoken, a silver seal bearing the seal of Gremory Seal appeared near the window. Through the seal came a beautiful woman the twins were all too familiar with. She was 5 feet 8 inches, had long, flowing silver hair tied in a too-short braid in the front, and one long braid in the back. Her silver eyes seemed to glow dimly in the shadows alongside her fair skin, her red rouge standing out the most in the dim lighting, aside from the silhouette of her perfect hourglass figure. She was wearing a blue and white French outfit with long sleeves and a white-made headband over her head. Am I interrupting? She asked coyly, recognizing another sibling squabble between the two. No, Grafia-san, Naruto replied flatly, getting up and heading to the fridge. Just lamenting on everything that's happened recently. From the fallen angels to Riser's rape boner for Rias. Grafia sighed, putting a hand on her head. Must you use vulgar language in front of me like you do to Riser? What are you talking about? Naruko asks, tilting her head. He didn't say ass, shit, damn, fuck. Fine, I take it back. Grafia relented, raising her hands. Venelana-sama asked me to check up on you too, and to deliver this. With a snap of her fingers, 2 briefcases appeared in both of her hands. She strode over to the table at the same time Naruto came back with drinks. She set the briefcase down in front of the twins, and accepted her drink from Naruto. Thank you. Grafia said and sipped it, noting that Naruto gave her sparkling grape juice. She instructed me to hand these to you. Ajuka has finished inspected them, so they're safe to use. Naruto nodded and opened the briefcase, with Naruko doing the same to her own. Both contained the same items, 25 dark crimson chess pieces. Wait a minute, 25? Why are there 8 extra pieces? There's even an additional pawn piece here. We're not going to waste the others. Naruko commented, and took out one of her extra pieces. She shook it and bit into it. Nom nom nom. Please refrain from that, Naruko. Those are imbued with the essence of your ancestor Sparta. Grafia scolded pigtailed blonde, tugging the piece away from her mouth. Please treat them with respect. As for the extra 8 pieces, those are fairy pieces. The legendary fairy pieces, only given to a handful of trustworthy devils. Neat. Naruko cheered, raising an inverted bishop that was encased in a glass sphere like the others. So these are the legendary Sparta pieces, eh? Makes sense that a devil like Sparta would have fairy pieces in his arsenal. Naruto mused, examining the king piece. So this is the gift that Dante and Virgil refused. Dante didn't want to get involved in the affairs of Makai, and Virgil was a loner. They look and feel different from regular pieces. He put a hand to his chest, where his knight piece was located. He sensed the Sparta piece emanating a fearsome aura, which made the piece inside him pale in comparison. I know that you've both made your decisions, but I must ask again. Grafia said, setting her drink down on the table. Are you sure you two want to go through with this? Grafia, Naruto started, looking at her with a blank expression. This decision wasn't easy for the both of us. If you would have asked us if we would have left her so prematurely like this, we would have laughed in your face while spiking your drink with laxatives. Just ask Sirzex, Datbeo. A strange smile appeared on Grafia's smile as a tick mark appeared on her head. As much as she would like to trap Naruto in an ice cube, she relented. He and his sister were uncontrollable, and any attempt at punishing them would result in retaliation. The only one who's able to fully discipline the twins without risk is Venelana. Even Rias had her difficulties controlling the twins to a degree. Anyways, we are leaving Rias Peerage. After everything that happened and being forgotten like yesterday's news for a pervert with a constant hard-on for boobs and anything in a skirt, can you really blame us? Naruko sighed. She downed her drink and slammed down her mug. He shouldn't have been killed by Rainier to begin with. stray fallen angels were running amok in Kuo and Shi. Naruko, chill. Naruto snapped, cutting her off. We don't need you to go on another rampage. Hump, fine. Naruko snipped and crossed her arms in a pout. Sorry, geez. So where will you live? Grafia inquired, looking around the open space that connected the living room and dining room. You did take a liking to this place due to it being close to the school. We recently bought a new place to live within the territory just last week with our funds from our jobs. Naruto replied after finishing his own drink. It's a 3,600 square foot old Japanese-style mansion. 9 bedrooms, plus common areas. It's more than enough space for us to live comfortably. And to manage our peerages. Naruko added, standing up, and I know you're about to ask how we'll maintain the grounds. Don't worry, we already have that covered. She said before grinning, we have it covered in a way that would make Hyodo green with envy. As a bonus, Rias and the others don't know about our guests. Then again, I don't think some of them will take it that well. Naruto said, closing his briefcase. No matter. We plan on telling them eventually. Grafia looked interested. Might I be in on this secret? Ask Venelana Okasan. Naruto said, smirking, she's the only one who knows, and allows it. Indeed I shall, Grafia said, watching as Naruto and Naruko stood together, holding the Sparta, king, pieces. Rias-sama and her, queen, will be saddened by this, but it's understandable why you're doing this. The twins nodded in confirmation. With sadness in their eyes, they held out her hand, and focused their power within themselves. A red aura outlined their bodies, and 2 pieces exited out of them. A red, night, piece exited Naruto's body, and Naruko's red, rook, soon did the same for hers. They glowed as they landed in their empty palms, with their auras disappearing. As the red pieces' glow faded, both twins gazed at their king, Sparta pieces, before bringing it to their chests. Grafia watched as the pieces glowed and sank into the twins' bodies. Crimson sparks arced off their bodies, concerning the silver maid. They saw their faces grimace before they are enveloped in a crimson light. A burst of energy pulsed throughout the apartment, causing Grafia to stumble back. The walls began to crack from the pressure. Naruto, Naruko, Grafia called out as their auras flared dangerously. Just as Grafia gathered her magic to try and reverse the increasingly dangerous situation, she saw the auras turning into gentle pulses. The auras quickly died down, and the crimson light faded into the twins. Their appearances remained the same, but they were both breathing heavily. Well, huff. That was something. Naruko said, flexing her hand. I expected it to hurt, but it was more shocking. Naruto groaned in agreement. Since the pieces accepted us, we really do have the blood of Sparta. In additions to the other bloodlines that would give sacred gear like the boosted gear and divine dividing a run for it money, Naruko added with a grimace, at least we don't be walking with a stupid swagger over a badass dragon gauntlets that's wasted on him. 2 words, dress, break. Goo, don't remind me. Naruto grumbled, closing one eye. Though to be fair, it could be effective on armor. Grafia coughed, getting their attention. In any case, I am glad to see you both unharmed. As of right now, you are both kings. You have a higher responsibility now, not just as the adopted children of the House of Gremory, but as the descendants of the legendary Dark Knight Sparta. And we'll face it head on. We'll do both names proud. Naruto proudly proclaimed as Naruko nodded in agreement. You and Venelana Okasan can believe that. Kuo Academy, a few days later. Wah. I don't want you to go, wailed a small, petite girl that latched herself to Naruto's waist. Please stay. The outside world's so scary without you. Wait. You mean Rias never, Naruto started to say before groaning. Naruto and Naruko were in the basement of the occult research. With them were the 3 peerage members they were close to. Kiba Yuto, Naruto's now former fellow knight, stood at 5 feet 8 inches tall. His short, blonde hair almost covered his bluish-gray eyes, which had a beauty mark under his left one. Add that on top of his perfect light skin. He was known as Kuo Academy's school prince due to his handsome looks. His looks was further complemented by his Kuo Academy boy's uniform, which consisted of a black blazer with white accents over a white, long-sleeved dress shirt. A black ribbon poked out underneath his collar, which went well with his matching black pants and brown dress shoes. Next to him was Sharon Teju, nicknamed Kaneko, a Nekomata who was Naruko's, now former, fellow, rook. A 4 feet 6 inches petite girl with short, white hair with a black cat-shaped hair clip above her bangs. Her yellow eyes blinked as she scratched her fair-skinned neck. She usually wore the Kuo Academy girls' uniform without the shoulder cape. Aside from that, her female schoolgirl uniform consisted of a white, long-sleeved button-down shirt, a black button-down corset, a magenta skirt with white accents, finished by brown dress shoe with black socks. Gaspar Vladi, Rias's first bishop, and the peerage's resident Dio Brando, was the one currently hanging off of Naruto's waist. The young, shy Dampier had pinkish-violet eyes and pointed ears, which was somewhat hidden underneath her platinum blonde hair. She's 4 feet 11 inches tall, and wore the Kuo Academy girls' uniform with knee-high socks. Naruto and Naruko were visiting Gaspar, bumping into Kiba and Kaneko in the same room. Just like the time they sensed that the twins had become high-class devils, they also sensed that they now had king pieces in them, and that the twins were no longer a part of Rias' peerage. Naruto groaned. Gaspar-chan, when was the last time Rias came to help you with your powers? A week ago, Gaspar mumbled into Naruto's shirt. Goddammit. Naruto sighed, rubbing the back of his head. I'll give her one last reminder before we go. Just know that this isn't goodbye, guys. Naruko informed their 3 friends. We'll be around. We just need some time away. It's understandable. Take all the time you need, Naruko-senpai, Naruto-senpai. Kiba said with a determined look. We'll hold down the fort, so you won't need to worry about us. You sure about that, Kiba-kun? Naruko drawled with a grimace. I still worry when any holy swords come into play during our skirmishes with stray church members, and you decided to go lone wolf on us. Hey. Like I said, I won't do that if they appear, Kiba protested, sweating and looking flustered. You have my word on that, senpai. Excellent. Consider that one last lesson from your twin senpai. We're confident that you'll keep your revenge in check, but, Naruto's eyes turned red as he locked eyes with his fellow swordsman, a Kitsune Haniya mask appearing next to him. If you go lone wolf with the holy swords, and Rias-chan and Akeno-chan gets hurt because of it, you're gonna be fucked. Terrified, Kiba nodded his head rapidly like a bobblehead. Yes, Naruto-senpai. Good. Naruto smiled, and turned his attention to Kaneko. And now we come to you, Sharon-chan. I don't want, she started, before Naruko popped a piece of chocolate into her mouth. As the chocolate melted into her mouth, her cat ears and tail popped up. A warm, pink aura surrounded her as she ate the chocolate. MMHMM. We know you're scared of your Nekomata abilities, but you can't afford to run away from them like Akeno does with her own fallen angel abilities. Hate to say it, but they would have been more useful than the brat's dress break. Naruko said, caressing Kaneko's face, causing her to purr. We would have stood a better chance, but that's besides the point. None of us will get anywhere in life if our past holds us back. We're going, and it means that your time to shine. Naruto added, looking from Kaneko, to Kiba, to Gaspar, and back to Kaneko, so all of you, stop. Holding back. Are we clear? I'll try. Naruto-senpai. Kaneko said timidly, and squeaked when Naruko grabbed her cat ears. Good kitty. Naruko cooed, rubbing behind her cat ears. Please come back soon. Gaspar whined, looking up at Naruto. I don't want to miss you. And you won't, Datbeo. Naruto replied, smiling. Also, take care of the new girl, Asia. After saying their goodbyes, Naruto and Naruko headed upstairs. They had previously contracted Rias and Akeno to meet with them. It was just to go out to the town, nothing more, nothing less. The two had agreed, noting that it's been some time since the 4 of them hung out together. 1 hour later, the sun started to set, and Rias and Akeno still haven't arrived. That's weird. Naruko noted, checking her watch after exiting the building. Rias-chan and Akeno-chan should have been out here by now. Rias-chan may still be dealing with paperwork. Naruto guessed, frowning as he stared at the building. I'm sensing that they're still in there. Jerking his head towards the building, Naruto and Naruko re-entered the building and went upstairs. They stopped in front of the large, ornate double doors, noticing that they were cracked open. Lewd sounds emanated past the door, causing a feeling of dread in the twins, especially Naruto. Steeling themselves, they peered through the crack in the door. They saw their king and queen, Rias and Akeno, servicing their pawn, Issei Hyodo, by sucking at his fingers. They, of course, understood the reason why, as they had to extract the excess magic from him so that his arm can remain human. But the fact that Rias and Akeno looked like they were enjoying themselves was like a stab in their hearts. Upon eyeing Issei's look of arousal and hearing his perverted giggling, Naruko was seething. She stormed away, leaving an upset Naruto. who looked down on the ground and rubbed his eyes. Looks like we're taking a rain check on that outing, he mused before quietly closing the door, his last sight being Rias and Akeno smothering Issei with affection. He followed Naruko's energy signature to the main entrance outside. Looking around, he found her sitting at the trunk of a nearby tree, looking up at the window where Rias would look over the school and its grounds. Above her head is an indent of a footprint in the tree. Rias-chan. Akeno-chan. They didn't even notice us. Naruko sniffed, wiping her eyes. And we weren't even hiding our energy. Naruto shrugged. Yeah, true. But to be fair, the brat didn't notice us either. Then again, who can blame him? He has the attention of the two great ladies of Kuo Academy. Guess he has more chemistry with them than we do. You don't have to hide it, Naru-ni. You're just as pissed as I am, Naruko said, looking sour. I am. Naruto replied, narrowing his now red eyes, but they made their choice, just as we made ours. So enough is enough. It's time to leave. Naruko nodded and hopped up from the tree. Walking side by side, they left the school grounds. Hey, Naru-ni, yeah? You know this, but just because I'm also in love with Rias-chan and Akeno-chan, doesn't mean I'm not in love with you too. Really? I would have never guessed, because the feeling's mutual. Well, at least we still have each other. You are not getting into my pants that easily. Hyodo residence. The beautiful Rias Gremory entered her new room in the Hyodo residence. 5 feet 8, long, crimson hair, blue-green eyes, fair skin, and a buxom figure. She was every man's wet dream, especially in her current semi-transparent nightgown, which didn't do much to conceal her bare breasts and her red panties. After the engagement party and the failed wedding, she decided to move in with her, pawn, Issei, his family, and her, bishop, Asia, who was also staying with the latter. She was still reveling in her newfound freedom from the engagement with Riser. She hated the fact that her fate to marry someone was decided without her input, especially when she was just a child. Besides, she was never interested in Riser. He was arrogant, annoying, and constantly flaunting his wealth, status, and harem in the form of his peerage. He was never like that when they were children, as she got along with his very well. But as they got older, the power of the House of Phoenix got to his head, causing his friendship with Naruto to end. The two held a mutual dislike for one another ever since Riser became a smug asshole. Riser continually mocked Naruto for being a low-class devil, and he will be marrying his crush and surrogate sister Rias. In response, Naruto made fun of Riser on more than one occasion, antagonizing and mocking him for being a one-trick pony, and repeatedly calling him fried chicken. Rias giggled at the memory of Naruto verbally taking Riser in a brutal fashion, mocking him for his all-female peerage only being in purely for looks, and making Riser out to be a bully for taking on another peerage with no rating game experience, unlike him. Naruto, she murmured to herself. She reached into a box full of unpacked things and pulled out a picture. It was a picture of herself, Akeno, Naruto, Naruko, and 2 of their childhood friends, both wearing pigtails like Naruko. Wait. Rias blinked owlishly. I feel like I'm forgetting something. Oh. Hey Rias-chan. You think me, you, Naruko, and Akeno-chan can go out into the town? It's been a while since we did so. Oh, of course. Just let me finish this paperwork. Then I'll go get Akeno, and then we can go. 1 hour tops, I promise. It's a date then. Rias giggled at that. Absolutely. Oh damn it, Naruto and Naruko. That's right, Rias shrieked, a horrified expression on her face. Oh by the 4 Satans, how could I forget about them? Forget about what? A voice asked from the doorway. Rias turned to see her, Bishop, Asia Argento. She was a pretty young Italian girl with long, blonde hair, green eyes, fair skin, and a medium-sized bust. She was wearing a pair of modest, pink pajamas. It's nothing. Rias replied as she grabbed her phone. She dialed Naruto's number and waited for him to answer, but no one answered. What? Frustrated, she dialed Naruko's number, but got the same result. Why? They always answer me. What's wrong, bucko? Asia asks, concerned about the frantic look on her, King's, face. Are Naruto-senpai and Naruko-senpai alright? I hope so. Rias said as a magic circle appeared beneath her feet, the phone still in her ear. I'm going to go check on them. She disappeared, just as Issei arrived. What was that? Asia, where did Bucko go? He asks, with Asia looking troubled. I don't know. She said something about checking on Naruto-senpai and Naruko-senpai. Naruto and Naruko's old apartment. Rias materialized in the apartment. She looked around, only to find it barren, much to her shock. The rooms were Spartan, not a speck of dust in sight. The tables were void of the items the twins set on them, and the beds were bare. The kitchen was empty, with all the cabinets cleared out, the dishes done, and the fridge squeaky clean. What the hell is going on? Rias acts in panic as a magic circle appeared next to her, revealing her queen. Why is their apartment empty? I'm here, Rias. What happened to Naruto and Naru? Akeno started to say, looking around the apartment to find it void of anything. What is this? I don't know, Rias responded as they walked through the apartment. But I'm worried, especially after forgetting about going out with them today. Going out with, Akeno gasped in shock. That's right. You told me about that. I agreed at first, but we got sidetracked from extracting the dragon's magic from Issei. Rias said as they entered the bedroom. After the extraction, we kept toying with him. Well, mostly you. I couldn't help it. It's so much fun teasing him. But, Akeno's expression fell. Now that I think about it, I feel that I've been spending too much time with him. Yeah. Rias said absent-mindedly, before noticing something on the bedside table. Looking closely, she gasped when she recognized her knight and rook pieces, along with a folded-up piece of paper next to it. Why are these? Wait, aren't those Naruto-kun and Naruko-chan's pieces? Akeno questioned, looking worried as Rias picked up and read the note. You don't think someone got to them? No, Rias said, shaking her head as the bangs in her hair shadowed her eyes. Akeno frowned. Bucko? We have to find them, now. Fountain Park. Oh, it's you guys again. Naruto drawled. Wow, I knew that Genra had a hard-on for us, but this is too much, man. His eyes scanned at their numbers, then chuckled. And you brought backup. Maybe this time it might be more of a fight. And having you idiots team up with a band of even more idiots in the form of the Hero Clan is just fucking priceless. Naruko added with a manic grin. Shouldn't you all be out chasing Yoma and fiends? The two blondes were passing through the park with a large fountain when they ended up being ambushed by a group of ninjas and warriors. The ninjas were from Hajinmen's sect of the Mugen Tenshin clan, and the warriors were from the Hero clan. By the order of Genra-sama, you monsters will die in the name of justice. The general of the Hajinmen declared as his comrades unsheathed their weapons. As long as you live, the risk of our clan being discovered by the outside world increases. And you will pay for the death of our comrades. The leader of the group from the Hero clan added. Every day you both breathe is a dishonor to our fallen comrades. Naruto sighed. As usual, you dipshits continue to prove how low your IQs have fallen with each passing year. We thought the piles of dead bodies we sent back to you all this time would send a loud and clear message to leave us alone. But now. Naruko sneered. It seems that both villages will be attending joint funerals. We'll see about that. The Hajinmen general snarled. Charge. Kill them, and retrieve the cursed sword. The Hero clan leader screamed. Get them. Both groups rushed at the twin blondes, who both looked unfazed. Well, Naruto mused with a deadly look in his eyes, at least I get to work out some frustration. He raised his hand and focused his power. In an instant, a sleek, silver sword materialized in his hand. It had a crescent-shaped blade, a circular hilt protected by a guard, and emanated a green and violet aura. Let's turn the night bloody, Naruto whispered. Brynhildr. At the same time, Naruko held her right hand out. A golden flame enveloped her arm, forming an oversized golden-yellow gauntlet that bore a resemblance to the boosted gear, with its jewel being purple in color. Incinerate them to ashes, Naruko screamed. Sunfire. You take the 20 on the left, and I'll take the 20 on the right, Naruto said. Less talking, more action. Because I'm looking to play, Naruko snapped back. So let's play. That's the spirit. Naruto and Naruko leapt towards the mini-army of ninjas and warriors. Clashing with them, they showed neither mercy nor remorse. His enemies quickly learned the hard way that he was the master of the styles of Yagyu Shinkage Ryu swordplay, hidden Mitsurugi Ryu Batojutsu, and traditional Iaido. For the ordinary man, learning all of the sword styles would have been considered impossible, but Naruto was considered anything but normal, especially when using the Uzumaki style ninjutsu. Using his vast energy reserves, he abused the crap out of the Uzumaki style. Taking advantage of the Shadow Clone Jutsu benefits, he accelerated his training with the sword styles, which was how he became very closer to the title of Master Swordsman. His fellow knight, at the time, Kiba admired him for his peerage skill, and vowed to become as strong as him someday. Naruto's opponents, who were obviously low to mid-level grunts of their respective factions, were severely outclassed. And they were all thoroughly screwed, considering Naruto's strikes were as fast as a machine gun. Die, devil scum. Naruto smirked as he used Brynhildr to trace a circle in front of him. He was then sliced and stabbed with various weapons before fading away. What? Where did he go? Yelled one of the warriors. I could have swore he killed him, a ninja replied before spotting Naruto behind them. There. Naruto hefted Brynhildr over his shoulder. The first blade, residual moon from the school of Yagyu Shinkage, followed by a dragon nest flash from the school of Hidden Mitsurugi. He said, looking behind him. Combine them together, and you're already dead. Nani? One of the warriors of the hero clans exclaimed in disbelief. The next second, cuts appeared on their bodies before their wounds exploded. Within the span of a second, Naruto shook them with rapid blows to their vital areas. The sheer pain and blood loss they experienced made them crumple to the floor, dead within seconds. And you know what? Naruto mused, channeling energy into Brynhildr. You lot won't be going back at all. Spinning on his heel, he unleashed a wave of demonic energy. As soon as the wave washed over their bodies, they disappeared in a pile of ash. So, the threat of knowing the secrets of Genra and the old farts of the hero clan isn't keep them at bay. Naruto growled, biting his thumbnail. Once we gather peerages of our own, we'll deal with them directly, and in a permanent manner. He looked over at his sister, who was having the time of her life. Using her fists and gauntlet, she was breaking bones and tossing her own victims across the park. Whether it's slamming them to the ground by their limbs, or sending them flying with a vicious punch or kick, Naruko showed why she was the most powerful tank of Rias peerage, at the time. Unlike Naruto, Naruko specializes in close-quarters hand-to-hand combat, using a mixed martial arts style that incorporates Shotokan and Sitsuken, street-style kickboxing, Mishima Ryu karate, and Kazama Ryu Eiki Jujutsu. Using the same shadow clone trick that her brother used, along with the same discipline to perfect her techniques, Naruko was close to being a master martial artist, but she couldn't take that title yet. Still, it was enough for a maniac, Rook, like the pigtailed blonde. If one would describe Naruko's fighting style, the main dish is brutality, with a side of turning defense into offense. Worse, as her adrenaline increases, her personality changes, switching into a crazed, axe-crazy psycho whose sadistic tendencies would have Akeno hesitant to admit her into her BDSM dungeon. Not that Akeno has one, mind you. Back to Naruko, she was now surrounded by broken bodies and limbs. She was giggling, swaying back and forth on her feet. Of the 20 poor souls that faced her, only 3 were unlucky enough to survive, with 2 from the Hajinman and 1 from the hero clan trying to crawl away from her. This is all wrong. One of the ninja shouted, you can't be as strong as your mother Kushina, you were both supposed to be weak. Oh ho? Naruko cooed, raising her gauntlet, according to who? A beam shot from the palm of her hands, wiping out the ninja and his comrade, leaving the member of the hero clan remaining. Oh God, please, he cried, trying to keep away from the advancing blonde Punisher. Have mercy, I have a family. Oh yeah, asshole? Naruko seethed as energy gathered in her palm. So did we. Naruko, enough. Naruto said, Flash stepping next to her and putting a hand on her shoulder. Let him go. Let him report his failure to the higher-ups of both villages. It'll send a message that we're not messing around. Naruko growled before letting out a deep breath. As she exhaled, her facial features relaxed, and she dismissed her gauntlet. Besides, Naruto picked the survivor up by his shirt. We have some questions. And anything. The hero clan members squeaked. Who masterminded this collaborated effort between your hero clan and the Mugen Tenshin clan? Naruto asks, bringing Brynhildr to his neck. Why do both of the clans want us dead? And finally, he leaned in closer to his face. Who sold us out? I don't know. I'm just a normal grunt. The hero clan member cried out. All I heard was that someone from one of the major houses in Makai found out and delivered the information to the hero clan council. That's it, I swear. Please don't kill me, especially with that sword. Naruto narrowed his eyes as the hero clan member fearfully eyed Brynhildr. Huffing, he knocked him away with the hilt before dismissing his sword. Still blaming me except Sato-san, eh? No matter. I'm done trying to convince you lot. Now get out of our sight, maggot. Naruto jerked his head to the side, with the hero clan member nodding rapidly and took off. Naruto shook his head, smirked at Naruko, who blew a sour raspberry at the retreating figure. They're going to escalate their attacks at this rate, Naruko said, and side-eyed her brother. Who should we hit first? The Mugen tension. We have evidence that Genra is working with DOATEC, as well as him being responsible for the Chaos Brigade flooding the village when we were kids. Not to mention allowing Raida to sneak into the village multiple times. Naruko added, clenching her fist. Raping Ayame-san and crippling Hayate-kun years later. Once we expose them, hold on. Redonning her Sunfire gauntlet, she raised her palm and fired an energy beam at Naruto. Naruto casually dodged it, allowing the beam to impact his would-be attacker. They saw it was the hero clan member they spared, who charged at the twins while their guards were down. The beam blew him apart, littering the ground with his charred body and limbs. As I was saying, Naruko huffed, dismissing her gauntlet again. Once we expose Genra, he'll answer to everything, and we'll find out exactly who he's in league with in Makai. So let's get going, Naru-ni. Naruto nodded, before his senses tingled, causing him to groan. But before that, he pointed upwards. Naruto. Naruko. Rias called out, descending to the ground alongside Akeno. Stop right there. Hey Rias. Hey Akeno. Nice night, isn't it? Sorry about the mess here. Naruto drawled, his azure blue eyes trained on them as they landed. And judging by the looks on your faces, he noted the two's confused and disappointed looks. You read our little farewell note. Rias and Akeno looked around the area to see piles of ashes blowing away in the wind, revealing the charred remains of human bones. Rias shivered at the scene of carnage, while Akeno looked away, feeling uneasy. Naruto sighed and jerked his direction to a path. Let's take a walk. It is a bit corpse-y out here. Naruto and Naruko started walking, with Rias and Akeno right behind them. After looking behind herself, Rias turned her attention back to the twins. Explain yourselves. What is the meaning of this? Basically our past coming back to haunt us. Naruko replied, jerking her thumb over to remains of the short battle behind them. Nothing but a little self-defense. That's not what I mean, and you know that. Do you really mean to abandon my peerage after everything we've just been through? Rias demanded, anger dominating her beautiful features. If you two go through with this, you'll both be branded as stray devils, and I can't protect you afterwards. We know. Naruto shrugged. Naruto, Naruko, please don't do this. Akeno chimed in. Think about Rias. Don't trample on her pride. We owe her our lives, don't you remember? We remember that clearly, Akeno. Naruko said uncaringly, your point? Rias and Akeno flinched when they finally noticed the lack of the affectionate Chan after their names. Why? Why are you doing this? Do you think running away will solve anything? Rias shouted, her eyes watering. Why don't we sit down and talk about this? Please don't go. I don't want to have to hunt you both down. The twins stared at the red-headed king, with deadpan eyes. Naruko's eyes twitched, while Naruto growled in frustration, running a hand down his face. Kiba-kun noticed. Sharon-chan noticed. Sona-chan and Tsubaki-san learned about it. Hell, even Saji of all people noticed, and he's a bloody pawn. Naruko bit out, tick marks appearing on her head. How is it possible that neither of you noticed by now? You're making our decision easier than we thought. What are we supposed to notice? Akeno asked waspishly, angered at Naruko's wording. Naruto just shook his head. To be fair, they were a lot more involved in our decision. But to be frank, you guys barely pay attention to anything lately, so I'm sure you won't mind us taking a hike. Just don't worry your pretty little redhead about us. We won't be strays you'll have to hunt down. You think that's what I'm worried about? Rias screeched, magic gathering in her tightly clenched fists. Having to hunt down family? To kill the ones I love? I'm worried about the both of you. Running away like this isn't like you two. You always face your troubles head on, damn the consequences. Why can't you both talk to us about the problems you're facing? Rias. Akeno suddenly spoke up in a small voice. The ruined princess turned towards her. Queen, what? Akeno was nearing tears herself, biting her lip as she gestured at the twin devils. Use your king, Rias. The azure-eyed teen's lips upturned as Rias complied with the strange request, her trust in her queen absolute. As her king, peace resonated with the pieces within them. She gasped in shock as she tumbled backwards from the pulse of their pieces, her aquamarine eyes widening in horror. 2 kings. Exactly. Naruko confirmed, looking at the two great ladies with one eye closed. Consider it our resignation. With this, your slots for the knight and rook pieces have been cleared up. But, when? How? Before the school semester started, we took the exam to become high-class devils. Naruto explained matter-of-factly. We weren't fans of the huge ritual and ceremony, so we took it privately with the 4 Satans overseeing the proceedings. It wasn't easy, but we got through it. And you never told us. The Ravenette, Queen, asked dispiritedly. Why? To be honest, we were going to tell you as soon as we got back. It was going to be a surprise. But before we could, Kiba and Sharon-chan sensed our ascension. Even Sona-chan and Tsubaki-san found out before sensing our power. Naruto said, looking at Akeno with a saddened gaze. We thought you both would, so imagine our surprise when Rias never spoke up about it. Even you, Akeno. He grumbled, scratching the back of his head. But at the time, we got over it. After all, the strength we gained was meant to protect everyone precious to us. Even as high-class devils, we didn't care about fame, glory, or acquiring a peerage of our own. We went through the promotion to unlock our bloodlines and claim our heritage, he said, clenching his fist. As a fellow high-class devil, I thought you'll be ecstatic that 2 more high-class devils would boost the power of your peerage, not to mention raise your reputation back in Makai. But lately, Naruko narrowed her eyes and crossed her arms. It's a reputation you never really bothered to maintain as of late. Sears X Nissan didn't mind our decision, due to everything that happened at the time. At the same time, Rias echoed, her mind trying to process everything the twins are saying. Naruto smirked dispassionately. Yep, until you brought Hyodo into the fold, that is. What does Aiz-kun have to do with this? Akeno growled, don't tell me you've leaving just because you feel threatened by his presence? Do you want to answer that, or should I? Naruko asked quietly, side-eyeing her former king and queen. Naruto didn't answer as they cleared the forest park area. In front of them was an elevated hilltop road that was part of the nearby highway. Across the street was a small rest area with a mini playground, and a view of Akihabara that was protected by a railing to prevent any accidental falls. Naruto. Naruko. Answer us, Rias demanded as they crossed the street. Is it because of Issei that you're leaving me? Naruto looked at her over his shoulder. Would you be surprised if we said yes? Energy exploded off of Rias, her dark crimson demonic aura flaring from her form. You are leaving us because of jealousy? Not going to deny it, since it's pretty obvious that Hyodo has taken our place in your hearts. Naruto replied coolly, Uzi phasing by Rias' raging aura. Meanwhile Naruko, who was also unfazed, skipped over to the swings and sat on one of them. This is what all of this is about. Akeno furrowed her brow in repressed anger, lightning crackling threateningly in her hands. Aiz-kun is nothing but a perverted little brother. And you both are my siblings in all but blood. How can you even think that he replaced you in our hearts? What gives you the right to assume such things? Naruto raised an eyebrow, slightly amused by their anger in her tones. Well, missing the appointed time to hang out today in favor of blowing Hyodo's fingers doesn't help your case. You two were so into it that neither of you noticed us like you usually did when we were kids. Startled, the magic faded from Rias and Akeno, who could only exchange looks of horror. Naruto just shook his head and joined Naruko, sitting on the swing set. You saw that? Rias whispered. You two were taking too long with the paperwork, so we went to go see what was going on. Imagine our surprise to find you were both going to town on the brat's fingers. Naruko said, anger evident in her voice. From our position, it looked as though you both were sucking something else. Naruto growled, his tone telling her not to push it. Naruko shrugged. Meh, my bad, but that's beside the point. Akeno shook her head. Naruko, you know that we were. We know. Jokes aside, you were sucking the dragon's magic from his arm. And that's all well and good, since you like to tease him, Akeno. Naruko giggled, before reverted back to her annoyed look. It still doesn't change the fact that you never noticed us today. And no, you don't get to use the excuse that you weren't paying attention. Remember us playing hide and seek when we were kids? We would always lose because you two managed to constantly detect our energy signatures. You guys would ambush one of us and smother us with hugs and kisses when you felt our energies close to us. As we grew up, you stopped being so affectionate. And it's understandable, as we were all growing up and maturing. Naruto noted in resignation. At least you were still acknowledging us. But today and for the past few months, it's apparent that we no longer mean as much to you as we did before. Kiba, Kaneko-chan, and Gasper feel the same way, but a much lesser extent than us. Just because, out of everyone we know, you two were the only ones who were unaware of our promotion. Naruto cut off Akeno with an exasperated look. Kiba and Sharon-chan noticed almost immediately when he got back from the exams. Gasper found out when Sharon-chan called us out on it while we were playing some video games. Sona-san learned about it because Serafal-chan couldn't keep her mouth shut around her. Because of that, we waiting for you to notice, but you two never did. And note that this was before Hyodo joined your peerage. As a king, all of your pieces are equal in importance. And I, for the life of me, couldn't figure out how you couldn't sense our promotion like the others. How? I never meant to, Rias stuttered, putting a hand to her heart. She couldn't find a good excuse. That was because she had no excuse. Yes, they were both already powerful, being high devil classes, but she still should have noticed their promotions from a mile away. I'm sorry for not noticing, Naruto, Naruko. But this doesn't mean that we don't care for you, Rias protested, with Akeno nodding in agreement. You had a funny way of showing it past few months, Naruko countered with a nasty sneer. And when the brat came into the picture, it's gotten worse. Nevertheless, we kept our mouths shut, since we wanted to know how long it'd take you both to notice. Took more effort from me than Naru ni here. By the way, that's one of a few factors that mostly solidified things for us. One of few? Please explain. Akeno begged them. Naruto grimaced. We told you about the Mugen Tenshin clan and the Hero clan. In truth, they've been harassing us for the past few years after someone in Makai sold us out. We can deal with them no problem, but it'll only be a matter of time before they target those close to us. Rias growled. We can handle them no problem. No, you can't. Naruto refuted, shaking his head. Yes, you have the power of destruction, but these idiots specializes in fighting the supernatural. They fight to kill, and you lack the experience to deal with opponents like them. They show no mercy, so neither shall we. It's not worth your hands being stained in their blood. They're our problem. Always have been. Why didn't you tell us about what they were doing to you? Rias asked, looking hurt. Because we didn't want to worry you. Naruto answered. And you busy doing other things, like securing Kuo as your territory, dealing with stray fallen angels invading Kuo, and telling Riser to fuck off. So, what are those, king, pieces? Akeno inquired, biting her lip. They feel different from Rias's. After our promotion, we had our bloodlines checked, and discovered that one of our ancestors happened to the very first superclass devil, the Dark Knight Sparta. Naruko revealed, giggling at Rias and Akeno's shocked expressions. That allowed us to acquire his evil pieces that he had commissioned for his sons, Dante and Virgil. The Sparta pieces, Rias whispered, realizing that now they're kings. They're entitled to their own peerage, so that means. When Searzex Nissan allowed us to leave your peerage, we had many offers to join other peerages. Sarah Tan was especially insistent. Naruko commented, a ghost of a smile on her face. But we wanted to go our own way, Databane. Wait, you asked Oni-sama? Rias goggled incredulously, and he agreed? Naruko nodded. We were surprised too, to be honest. But your actions as of late convinced him. Like we said, he didn't mind. Even Venelana Okasan agreed. Mother too? Why would she? Before we answer that, Naruto gave Rias a pointed stare. Rias, have you looked back on the rating game at all? No, Rias answered in a small voice. Why? Naruto sighed, rubbing his hand through his hair. Rias, your mom and dad were watching the rating games. You started out strong, but your performance faltered at the end. They watched as you surrendered the game in an effort to save Hyodo after he was decimated by Riser. You acted as if Riser was going to kill him, but in reality, he was just going to incapacitate him enough to be removed from the game. Everyone was baffled when you just gave up, completely forgetting about your two other offensive capable pieces. A knight, with enhanced speed, and a rook, with enhanced defenses, both high-class devils who can go toe-to-toe with the likes of Cyraorg both together and individually. What he said. You had a second wind in the form of us. Naruko added, wagging her finger. You could have castled with me so I could help you, Asia-chan, and the brat escape, while Naruto, who was itching to kick Riser to me's ass mind you, would have held him off. Worse, you surrendered, just as Naru ni and I forced Ubaluna out of the game, and that was no easy task. You could practically hear the toilet flushing when that happened. I didn't think of that, Rias mumbled, looking ashamed. Your surrender basically put a lot of egg on the House of Gremory's reputation. I never seen Zeoticus Tucson, Venelana Kasan, and Sears X Nissan looking so embarrassed and disappointed, especially in front of the House of Phoenix and other important VIPs. They expected your victory because of our promotion, so imagine their surprise when they found out that you didn't know and utilize us to the fullest. Naruto stated with a deadpan stare. That is not Ria's fault. Akeno snapped in an attempt to defend her. King, you never told us anything. Then explain to me how she never sensed us replacing our bloody pieces. Naruko shot back, hopping off the swing set. The power that was generated from that should have caught both of your attention. I mean, it happened in her fucking territory, a quarter of a mile from the school. We haven't been her pieces since she moved into the brat's house. That's unfair to her and you know it. Akeno hissed, getting into Naruko's face. You knew she moved in with Aiz-kun, but you left the pieces in your apartment. Yeah, you're right, it is unfair. But shouldn't a king be so unaware of her peerage? What does that tell you about how much she cares about all of us? Naruto retorted, pulling Naruko back. In welcoming Hyodo and Asia-chan, she has neglected the rest of us. If it were just for a few days to get the newbies situated into peerage, sure, that's fine. But it continued. The shadows of vengeance still lingers in Kiba. Sharon-chan is still like you, still afraid of her powers and heritage. Oh, and Gasper hasn't seen her in weeks, and is even more afraid of going outside. As their king, you were supposed to help them with their problems like you promised them, Rias. We could only do so much. Instead, you chose to squabble with Asia over Hyodo, amongst other things. Because of your negligence, we had to train alone for our match against Riser, mostly stopping by to help Hyodo and Asia-chan in their training. When we were attacked one day by Mugen Tenshin Nin, we were showing battle scars that were not from training, and you didn't even show concern for us when we returned. You could have told us about your troubles, but you kept your mouths shut. In the end, all of this still boils down to jealousy. I thought better of you, Akeno snarled. Naruto wistfully smiled and shrugged. I thought better of us too. But we are devils, personified by the 7 deadly sins, and we're selfish. I love you too, Rias, Akeno. So does my sister here, but we can't have you too. Not when your hearts have been enraptured by Hyodo. That's nonsense. I love you too to death. Rias shouted angrily. You know this. What could have made you think otherwise? Because Graphia-san popped in out of the blue, looking for you at our apartment. Naruto answered with a frown. She was pretty surprised to see you weren't there, much to our confusion. She confessed that the House of Phoenix was pushing the engagement, and the House of Gremory folded. She thought you would come to us to lose your virginity to me to annul your marriage with that fried chicken idiot. Imagine our surprise when we tracked you to Hyodo's place. Rias took a step back. You saw that too? We saw everything. Like, really, Rias? The fucking perverted brat of all people. Naruko snorted with disbelief. Have more respect for yourself, damn it. A girl's first time is sacred, regardless if you're a human or a devil. I know, but you're my closest siblings in all but blood. I chose Issei because he was naive and malleable, Rias argued weakly. And you're one of the 2 women I love. Naruto confessed, and hopped off the swing. You looked so happy when Hyodo came for you. Even hurts more after you gave me and Naruko a direct order to stand down when we were about to tear the fried chicken jackass a new asshole. It was like you wanted Hyodo to save you instead of me. Naruto stopped to take a breath. After you left and shared that kiss with him, that was the final straw. We requested Sears X Nissan to leave your peerage. Kiba and Sharon-chan understood and supported our decision. But, why? Why did you stay on after that? Why not just leave, then? Akeno shouted hoarsely. Because even after getting our pieces, it's still too difficult to just say goodbye. For these past few days, it was torture to see Rias so smitten with Hyodo, but as a friend and sibling, my heart warmed seeing her smile and laugh without a care in the world. Naruto admitted, his eyes watering. That's right. Naruko croaked, wiping her eyes of tears. We were going to say goodbye in that planned outing, but then you both had the nerve to instead suck that brat off. That 1 hour we planned mutually to be together one last time, just to say our goodbyes, and you didn't even notice we were there. No, Naru-ni was wrong, Akeno. That was the final straw. Things don't have to end this way, Naruto, Naruko. You're still our dearest siblings. Please give us a chance. Rias pleaded, seeing their hair shadowing their eyes as tears fell down their whiskered cheeks. We'll make up for all the neglect. Don't leave, please. Dearest siblings, eh? Naruto scoffed, wiping his eyes with his sleeves. I thought we were, for many years. We played together as children until our parents died. We found each other again when you saved us and Akeno from the streets. All those times we spent together, laughing and playing and sleeping together. But now, we're just a couple of pieces that both of you forgot, for a pervert with a dragon arm. Naruto and Naruko started walking towards the railing, turning their backs on their loved ones. So all those years together mean nothing to you now? Akeno screamed in frustration and anger, tears falling from her eyes. That made them both pause in their steps. They still mean everything to us, Naruto quietly said. But they obviously meant nothing to you. He turned to look at them, his eyes glowing red with silent fury. We devils live for thousands of years, and I'm not willing to live that long with two women I love, spreading their legs for some pervert that only care about one part of your body. I was willing to share the love Naruto had to you, Naruko chimed in. But what's the point if you're smitten with someone else, smothering him with the love you claimed you had for us? Naruko sniffed, her eyes glowing too. We won't interfere with you and the brat. Just do us a favor and don't make the same mistake with your next rook and knight. Before Naruko could finish, Naruto was suddenly struck and sent flying into the rest stop. Rias gasped, Naruto? Oh, you gotta be fucking kidding me, Databane. Naruko growled, recognizing her brother's attacker. His attacker wore red armor, with an all-too-familiar red gauntlet on his left arm. Where the fuck did the brat come from? Naru-ni. I'll make you pay for making Bucko cry, you asshole. Issei yelled, before charging at Naruto. Issei, stop. Rias screamed, reaching out with her arm. Naruto calmly picked himself up from the rubble and brushed himself off. Well, that happened. He mused, looking over his shoulder to see Issei in his scale mail armor coming at him. All right then, brat. Letting out a wicked grin, he summoned Brynhilder, tracing a circle in front of him. That move, Rias breathed before screaming. Naruto, no. Issei struck Naruto, knocking him further through a building. As the blonde went through wall after all, he slowly faded away. What? Issei was taken aback by Naruto's disappearance. Where'd you RK? Feeling a sharp pain in his chest, Issei looked down to see a silver blade sticking out through his body. He coughed up blood and looked behind him to see Naruto, who was less than amused. He then felt his body being lifted from the ground, causing the boy to hold the tip of Brynhilder to keep it from cutting upward into his body. Right. Naruto growled, his eye blazing red with slits. So if you would just care to explain to me in one sentence why you actually thought attacking me was a good idea, I might just let you go. Issei just gurgled and choked up blood in response. Yeah, see, I don't get it either. Naruto nodded mockingly in agreement. Hey Naruko. Why don't you try getting something out of him? Using Brynhilder, he tossed Issei at his now grinning twin, who had Sunfire out and waiting on her right hand. As Issei's prone body flew towards her, her gauntlet configured itself to form a pile bunker that acted as a piston. Like I give a damn. Vault Breaker. She delivered a massive punch to Issei, before slamming him down to the ground with her fist. Activating her gauntlet, the piston pumped, increasing the power of the blow with the force of a door-busting pile bunker. The impact created a crater that sent Issei 3 feet into the ground. Ah, that felt good. Naruko laughed as she withdrew her fist, resetting the piston. Sorry Naru-ni. He had nothing worth asking about. Meh, just as well. Naruto mused, and watched as Rias and Akeno ran over to Issei. That sneak attack knocked whatever respect I had for him anyway. You had respect for him? Naruko said dryly. Well, barely, but, Naruto shrugged. Nah, not really. Naruko nodded, thought so. The twins watched as Rias and Akeno tended to Issei, whose armor deactivated after taking so much damage. Please, that's enough. Akeno pleaded as she tried to heal Issei. Don't. We weren't going to kill him, geez. Naruto rolled his eyes and walked toward the railing. After all, he's the guy you chose over us. I'm sure he'll treat the two of you well, being a good-for-nothing perverted shitstain he is. Damn it, just stop it. Rias screamed in frustration, looking at the twin with tear-stained eyes. I'd rather have you too. Please, don't leave us. Not like this. Naruto and Naruko didn't stop until they reached the railing. When they looked back at Rias and Akeno, there were tears in their blue eyes. Goodbye. They both said, before jumping the railing. Rias and Akeno cried out and ran over to the railing. When they looked down, the twins were nowhere to be found down below. Chapter 01 end next time. Chapter 02. Aftermath. 1 month has passed since Naruto and Naruko left Rias Peerage. Along with training a couple daughters of demon lords, they were scouting out their future peerage members. As for Rias and Akeno, well, you made it to the end of the chapter, yay. Hope you enjoyed it. For the new year, I hope to pump out constant updates and whatnot, if real life doesn't get in the way first. This chapter was a basic setup to future events in the story. In addition to deal with the events of high school DXD, the twins and their peerages will be dealing with events of Testament of Sister New Devil and Dead or Alive when it comes to their past. Raising hell on earth makes for some good therapy, and a bad day for the Mugen Tenshin, the Hero Clan, and the Chaos Brigade. As for Rias and Akeno, I'm not going to bash them outright. It's pretty much going to be them learning, do not be sorry, be better type of thing. Man, I really need to play God of War. When it comes to the Sparta pieces, they'll be different from the normal evil pieces. You'll see how in future chapters. Also, they'll be used fairly if there's any rating games. As for the extra pieces, there's one extra pawn, and the fairy pieces used will be knight, pawn, knight, rook, knight, bishop, knight, queen, rook, bishop, inverted rook, inverted knight, and inverted bishop. Like I said, peerage members are set on my end, so no requests are being taken. Besides, the ones you request may already be chosen. The next updates, in short order, are Shinigami's Devil Huntsman, The Fox of Overwatch, Fate, Uzumaki, Naruto Hentai Adventures, and an update to 2 older stories. That's it from me. I shall see you all in the next update. Also, subscribe and follow me on YouTube, Twitch, and Twitter for Let Plays and retweeting waifus and other stuff. Until then, see ya in the next update. Peace. References: the Mugen Tenshin clan and its Hajinman and Tenjinman sects are from the Dead or Alive series. The Hero clan are from Shinmai Mao no Testament, Testament of Sister New Devil. The Cursed Sword. Brynhildr is also from Shinmai Mao no Testament, Testament of Sister New Devil. Sparta, Dante, and Virgil are from the Devil May Cry series. Dio Brando is from the JoJo Bizarre Adventure series. Genra is the master of the Hajinman sect from the Dead or Alive series. Yoma are from the Senran Kagura series. Fiends are from the Ninja Gaiden series, in the same universe as the Dead or Alive series. Sunfire is a gauntlet based off the gauntlet from Yang, Golden Sun Dragon picture drawn by Dishwasher 1910. Yagayu Shinkage Ryu Swordplay and it's the first blade. Residual Moon Technique are from the Marvel Blade anime. Hidden Mitsurugi Ryu Batojutsu and its Dragon Nest Flash Technique are from the Rurouni Kenshin series. Shotokan Ansatsuken is a fighting style from the Street Fighter series. Mishima Ryu Karate and Kazama Ryu Eiki Jujutsu are fighting styles from the Tekken series. Sato is from Shinmai Mao no Testament, Testament of Sister New Devil, only seen in the manga and light novel. Vault Breaker is Visibility in League of Legends. Released Saturday, January 12, 2019, Naruto and Naruko's new place. The twin blondes reappeared in their new residence via Magic Circle. It was much bigger than their old apartment, with the living room being spacious. That sucked. Naruko grumbled, falling onto the sofa. You're telling me, Datbeo? Naruto agreed, tossing his coat into the closet. On his way to the kitchen, he saw a note on a table. Taking it, he gave it a look over. I wonder where the others are? Naruko wondered aloud. I can sense Kuroka-chan asleep in one of the rooms, but the other two. Rainier and Kalawarner left a note. Seems that Azazel needs them for the Kokebiel case. Naruto replied. He folded the note into a paper airplane and tossed it at Naruko. He grabbed a couple of ramune from the fridge and tossed a bottle to Naruko, who finished reading the note. So what's the agenda for tomorrow? Naruko asked before taking a sip. Naruto sat next to her. Start scouting potential individuals for our peerages. With 50 of us, it's more than enough to take on the Mugen Tenshin clan and the Hero clan. Not only that, but deal with our open cases, and establish blueprints for those 2 villages. 999 yen says we can get it done in a month or 2. Naruko said, raising her bottle. Hey, you're on. Naruto agreed, clinking his bottle with Naruko's own. Also, I'm pretty sure I'm going to have an all-female team, Naruko added, and winked at her brother. If you copy me, they better hold up. If I do, my peerage won't be the same as the fried chicken jackass. Naruto stated with a smirk. They'll have the looks, sure. But they'll have the power and skills to best even the strongest, king, and queen. No matter what piece they are, Datbeo. As they took their sips, a crimson magic seal bearing the mark of Gremory appeared in front of them. Appearing from it was a handsome young man with shoulder-length crimson hair and blue-green eyes. Under his white and black robes, he wore black and gold armor on his upper chest. "I see that your separation from my sister went well," the man said, casting an amused glance to his surrogate siblings. "Hey, Sears Nissan. Whatever you have for us, can it wait until morning?" Naruko whined, "We're tired." "I know, but this will be quick," the Satan Lucifer assured them. "I'm sure you'll recognize your friends here." He moved to the side to reveal two girls from their childhoods, making the twins shoot up in shock. Both could be mistaken as fraternal twins, due to both of them being 5 feet 11 inches tall, wearing their hair in high pigtails, and having distinctly slender, yet curvaceous figures with large breasts. One had red hair, pink eyes, and wearing a red Chinese kipao with fishnet stockings. The another had pink hair, green eyes, and wearing a skimpy robe, with a bustier, corset, arm warmers, gloves, garter belt, and a choker. Mio-chan. Mew-chan. It's been a while oof. Naruto said in surprise before both girls ran towards them and wrapped them in a big hug. "Geez. Did you miss us that badly? It's been a few months since we last saw each other," Naruko said as she and Naruto returned the hugs. "We're more worried for you," exclaimed Mew, the pinkette. "Yeah. We saw that rating game you were in," Mio, the redhead, said, looking up at them. "Are you two okay?" "Oof, you saw that, huh?" Naruto sighed, rubbing his head. "Don't worry, we're fine." Naruko, I need you two to keep an eye out on your friends here. Normally I'd ask Rias, but she's currently under review after her rating game and her handling of the stray fallen angel incident. Sears told the twins as they gently pried their friends off themselves. "As you know, Mio and Mew and their family are descended from the house of Asmodeus. Its older descendants are currently dealing with a civil war within their ranks, so their fathers, Wilbert and Gallus, access to watch over them, but I figured that they'll be safer with you. On top of that, if you like, you two can continue their training that Graphia started them on." "Understood. Leave it to us." Naruto nodded, with Mio and Mew looking quite happy. "By the time we're done with them, they'll be forces to be reckoned with," Naruko added with a cheesy grin. "Then I leave them in your capable hands," Sears said. With that, he faded away on his magic circle. "So, what will you have us do?" Mew asked, before catching a white sword that Naruko summoned to her. "We are going to sleep. In the meantime, you can have fun with Hikari no Mithra, Mew-chan," Naruko said before heading to the staircase. Likewise. Naruto summoned a red sword in a roar of flames and tossed it to Mio. "You can get to know Homura no Pyra, Mio-chan. Training starts tomorrow." "Oh," Mio said, catching the fire sword. "Okay then." Night girls. Naruto and Naruko went upstairs, leaving Mio and Mew with their own weapons. They must still be drained from tonight, saying farewell to Rias and Akeno. Mew noted sadly, sticking Mithra to her back. Mio agreed, lifting Pyra over her shoulders. "We won't make the same mistake those two made. We'll stick by them, no matter what. And we'll never forget them." With that declaration, the daughters of the demon lords went after the blonde twins.